Hello and welcome to Morris Park. I'm Clyde Morris. And today's a little bit of a sad video. I'm doing an update on two of the plants I've showed you earlier that I thought had rust. Unfortunately, this is not rust. I've done a little research on this. One of my viewers actually kind of pushed me along to do this just through mind and said that my problem might be viral. Well, I got to looking at viruses and euphorbias online and so forth, and this really didn't match. But in recent times, some things have been happening, and I had to remember back about 3 or 4 years ago, I had a small hybrid euphorbia, and there was only one I had. It was a hybrid between Euphorbia horrida and Euphorbia seriformis. The little plant was doing great. It was growing inside. It was doing really great. And then I noticed it was starting to bleed sap just randomly. A little bead of sap I'd see on the side of the plant. Well, when the sap would go away, then there would appear a small scabby brown spot. And then after that, you see black lesions. Now, this I thought was rust. I say is not rust. I treated the Super variagata for this last year because a couple of my euphorbias did have rust, and actually it cleared them up and it stopped it. This, though, it slowed, and I don't know why it actually slowed, but it never actually went away. Now, this is going to be kind of education. I want you guys to get a good look at this. You can see where sap's been bleeding out here and there. There's a big old tear, which happens. See the sap at the top, sap at the sides. This is dried, of course. I've had these plants separated from other plants for a while. Now what this is, folks, is something that's incurable, which means I'm going to lose these two plants. I'm going to have to actually get rid of them because this stuff will spread around the greenhouse. And I'm really kind of sad about this because these are beautiful plants. But there's really nothing left that's untouched in these. I'll try to be careful here not to touch this too much. But what this is bacterial rot. And if your plant gets bacterial rot in euphorbias, there's nothing you can do. The plants are going to die. There's no treatment for this. A lot of time they suggest taking a healthy cutting if you can. There's nothing healthy on these plants. Nothing. That one down there looks like it might be pretty good, but if you look at the top, it's starting to darken. And I tried saving this little hybrid euphorbia that I was talking about. I would take a cutting that looked good, dry it, and it'd be just fine. I'd plant it, it would start to grow, and then all of a sudden, here it would come. It would start turning black and just fall over. That's basically what's happening with these. They are just turning this scabby color and black and brown, and you can see the sap bleeding in certain places. And unfortunately, these are all the diagnoses when I looked up online. I had a feeling the little one was bacterial rot way back when. And as I said, every cutting I took died. Reason for this in euphorbias, that it goes so quickly, is euphorbias have a very big vascular system. And what I mean by that, they have veins kind of like we do. And that's why they bleed so easily. Now, how did this come from this to this? They were sitting right next to each other. And it's very possible I could have moved one and just barely nicked this one with this one, and it spread. Usually through injuries, through dirty tools, which I always alcohol my tools. Through hands, that could very well be. Another thing is, the rats that I've had over the last couple of years that I've had to get rid of, when they crawl around these plants, their claws and everything else will actually injure the plants. They scratch them, they bleed a little bit, and that's just enough to let this stuff in. If it goes from here to here. And I've got one other plant that is questionable. This is my other resinifera. I've had this one a very long time, but see this? I am going to try to cut this off and see if I can save that, but I'm not sure. You see here, there's a little dark spot there too. This means that this plant is most likely infected, and most likely, I'll probably have to get rid of it. I'm seeing it start down here too. So it looks like I'm going to lose my resiniferas. Unfortunately, this is one I really like in my collection. It's a plant with a long history. It's a plant that essentially named Euphorbia as Euphorbia. Without going into all that, as I say, there's some places here. I may take one of those cuttings down here, I'm not sure, and see what happens, but the rest of the plant most likely is going to have to go. I'm going to have to keep my eye out for resiniferas now, since mine are infected. So, if you ever happen to see these lesions, along with black marks, also look for a little bead of sap just coming out of your euphorbia for no reason. It's never been injured or anything. Just all of a sudden there's a little bead of sap coming from the side of it. And that means it's probably infected, and to keep a close eye on when it spreads, unfortunately you're going to have to get rid of them. If I leave this in the greenhouse for a lot longer and up next to other plants, I say I've had these separated, they will infect other plants. That's why I'm going to have to get rid of the other resinifera also. From what I'm seeing, I'll cut pieces off. I'll see how it progresses. If it starts to progress, I'm going to have to get rid of all of it. And I've had that other one for well over 40 years, probably about 43 years. If I'm thinking right, very sad. Plants have been long in my collection. And this plant here actually came from like 2/3 from around the world. Came out of Singapore. It was sent to me by Daz and Edith of Cactomania. And guys, I'm really sorry about this. I just don't know how this even happened or why it happened. As you know, plants get diseases and then they can come out of nowhere and hit you. Sometimes you can cure them, sometimes you can't. And these, well, they're uncurable. Now, what I'll do, I don't have to throw away the pots or anything. What I'll do with the pots and any of the accent rocks and stuff, I'm going to put them in a bucket of bleach. And let them soak like overnight in a bucket of bleach. And then that should kill any of the bacteria or anything like that on it. It's really sad you just can't get them some antibiotics and they'll come out of it, but it doesn't work that way. These are destined to die. But, yeah. See that? And you can see some small, tiny spots where the sap's been bleeding out the side of the plant. Right in there. Very sad. And even those little offsets down there look like they might be something, you can look it closer, it's got it. But this vascular system that I was talking about on these euphorbias, once they get an infection, a lot of times they're not savable because the infection travels so fast through that vascular system and just infects the whole plant. So, sorry to say, but 3 of my plants are pretty well done. I'll try to get, as I say, cuttings from the resinifera. I'll cut back some pieces. I'll watch it. But all in all, I think it's pretty well done. Very sad. But this is very educational. This has really taught me something. I know what to look for now. And I hope all you folks out there know what to look for now. What may be look like rust, if it starts doing things like this and bleeding out the side, it's bacterial. You're going to have to discard the plant. Anyway, I'll be keeping my eye out for another resinifera in the future. And I hope you guys learned something from this little sad incident. This is Clyde Morris from Morris Park. I hope you all have a good day. The rest of my day is going to be a bit sad in getting rid of these, because they'll have to be taken out and destroyed. Anyhow, hope you all have a great day. Take care.